Have you ever wondered why some women seem to just keep moving forward and succeeding in life while others work just as hard, if not even harder, and still feel stuck in the same place or frustrated with where they're at? Today, I'm sharing 5 things that I have noticed that the women who keep growing and becoming successful tend to do differently than most women. And the best part is, most of these things are super simple and they can be done and learned easily by you as well.
One, two, three, four.
Hi, I am Carrie Marie, and this is season 3 of Holistic Mama Speaks, the podcast where I share tips and insights and real talk about living happier, living healthier, living more abundantly, and living on purpose. From prioritizing and time management to detoxing and realigning your body, home life, work life, boosting self worth, confidence, to holistic wellness, family, relationships, and everything in between. I've got you covered. That's why it's holistic. Whether you are juggling mom life, chasing your big dream, or just looking for ways to feel better inside and out, you are in the right place. And I'm so excited that you are here. So just a quick note, I am not a doctor, therapist, or financial advisor. I'm just here to share what's worked for me and others who I've worked with, and from what I've learned and picked up along the way. So for a full disclosure on everything, head on over to holisticmamaspeaks.com. Let's dive into the episode. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about success is that people assume successful people are somehow different, that they're smarter, that they're more motivated, that they're more disciplined, that they're more confident, that they've had more handouts. But you know what? After years of watching and helping women grow in so many different areas and transform their lives, I've actually realized a little something. It's usually not one big thing that sets those successful people aside from the rest. It's actually a handful of small, tiny shifts or things that they're doing a little bit differently that completely change the trajectory of their life. But really, those people literally just learned little things that they can do and tweak in their lives. It's so incredible. So today, I want to share those 5 shifts with you so you can start doing them too. All right. Number 1, they ask better questions. What do I mean by that, right? One thing I have noticed is that women who continue to grow, they don't really spend their lives being like, oh, woe is me, or thinking, why is this happening to me? Instead, they ask questions like, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? How can I grow because of this? I heard about several years ago this analogy of a football game, and this was really easy for me to help me wrap my brain around this because it seemed like so weird to me. So you take a football game. There's one team is playing against the other team. One team scores a touchdown. Okay? So see this happening. Half of the stadium is cheering, so excited, so happy, and half of the stadium is disappointed. Maybe some booing is happening. So the event itself didn't change. That football game was still happening. Everyone was seeing the football game happening. The same thing happened at the football game where this touchdown happened, but half of the people were cheering and half of them were upset. So the only thing that changed is people's perspective of that situation. How cool is that? So life works very, very similarly, where we can't always change what happened to us. We don't have control over everything out there, but what we can control is how we react, how we allow whatever it is happening to dictate the way that we feel and what we do from that situation. So think about something hard that has happened to you in your life that you've had to go through. It could be the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of a job. And then let's not even talk about loss. Maybe someone was mean to you one time. Maybe someone made a really nasty remark toward you. Even though in that moment, whatever the thing was really hard, think about how that made you afterwards. How did you react to that situation? What did you grow from that situation? What did you learn from that situation? Because everything that comes into our life, challenging and not, it shapes who we are. And we can choose to learn something from a situation and grow from it and become a better person because of it. Or we can choose to let that thing eat us up forever and be sad or mad or frustrated with it forever and ever. But we could choose to come out of that. So I have witnessed people who have lost loved ones, and maybe it was their child. I can't imagine going through that, but they chose to do something from that. They chose to start a fund to collect money for research or for something to benefit from that situation. Does not bring their child back, but they were able to use that to help others, to help other children, to help other families, to help bring awareness around something. So they could have chosen to just be sad the whole rest of their lives and be so depressed, but they chose to do something with that. So I want to just leave that with you out of this. This is, of course, just number one. Tip number one is to ask yourselves different questions to really get to the bottom of how can I act differently? How can I learn something from this? By asking questions and the different questions, you're going to notice such a huge change in your life. You'll start experiencing things differently. How cool. All right, here we go. Hey, friend, just a quick pause in our show. I just wanted to mention if this is really hitting home with you so far, I created something that I think that you will love. My new workbook, Unstickify Your Life, is a 30-day journey designed to help you to get unstuck, reset, and thrive in your life. Check it out at unstickifyyourlife.com. Tip number two, they intentionally choose who they spend time around. I know that that sounds simple, and you may have heard me talk about it before. And you've probably even heard the saying, you become like the people you spend the most time with. And you know what? That's pretty accurate. That's pretty true. Because think about this. If you surround yourself with negativity, people who are just negative Nellies in this life. No offense if your name is Nellie. But if you're surrounded by that constantly, if the people in your life that you're with the most often are super negative, it's hard to stay hopeful and hard to stay positive. Also, if you surround yourself by people who settle, they just kind of are fine with where they are in life, they're settling. It's easy to settle too. It's easy to fall into that and become like the people you're around. But if you flip it around and you're surrounded by women who encourage you, who challenge you, who celebrate your wins, who allow you to dream bigger and encourage you to dream bigger and share their dreams with you and genuinely want the best for you, ooh, that feels different, right? Something begins to change inside of you. You start to become a different kind of person because of those people who you're surrounded with. You start beginning to believe in yourself differently and believe that bigger things can happen and that they're actually possible. Because you know what? When you're living in that world surrounded by people who are negative, you kind of start to give up on your hopes and dreams and the possibilities that are out there. Yet, when you are surrounded by those who are just so encouraging and supportive and lifting you up and positive, you are going to be opened up to a whole new life and a whole new possibility. That is why community matters so much. And that's why I am creating a community for women to do just that. More on that later. I don't want to dive into that too much, but community matters so much. Thing number three that successful women are doing is that they stop guessing. One thing that I have learned is that you can't solve a problem if you don't actually know what the problem is. So sometimes we know that things are a little bit off, things are not right. We either don't feel right, maybe we feel a little ill, or maybe we just feel like something's a little off, or we're not doing what we feel like we should be doing with our lives. We know that there's something a little off, but we don't know what it actually is underneath. We don't know what the actual problem is. And we can relate this to like math, let's say. You can't say 2 plus blank equals blank. You're not going to get that equals blank because you have no idea what you're adding to the number 2. You don't know what the problem is. You don't know what that full problem is. You might know part of it. So you might know that you're frustrated with where you are in life or you don't feel very well. So you know that part. That's like the number 2. But then the plus blank, it's like, okay, what is it? What is that thing? We don't know the problem, so how can we solve it? Okay, so sometimes we feel like we are helping to solve the problem that we don't even really know the full problem of by maybe buying another fancy planner or buying a book or doing some productivity hack that we saw on TikTok. Or maybe we try a different morning routine. Or you try doing something else because you think it's going to solve the problem, even though, yet again, you don't know what the full problem is. And so, what you actually need, rather than all of those things and many more things, what you actually need is clarity. So you can just stop guessing. So you can stop hoping that this thing or this thing or this thing or this thing will make you feel better or make your life more productive or help you reach your goals or make you feel more fulfilled in life. Instead of guessing, you want to get clarity. And that's actually what the stuck point quiz is that you've heard me talk about before. The stuck point quiz only takes about 5 minutes and it helps to identify the biggest area that's holding you back so that you know where to focus. Because then you know you have the full picture. You have the full problem. Because one, you know what you're feeling. And two, you know where your biggest stuck point is. So then when you add these things together and you're like, okay, so now I know the problem here. Now I can find a solution. Okay. And the cool thing too is with the stuck point quiz is that you also get some next steps that will help you so that it's less guessing. Because that's the thing. People who are very successful, they stop guessing. You start getting to the root of things, getting to the bottom of things, and solving the problem as a whole, not guessing. Okay. Hey, friend, another quick pause. If you are ready to go even deeper on this journey and truly start getting unstuck, I'd love to invite you to join the Unstickify Your Life Academy. As a very special gift to my listeners, you can receive free access to the Academy right now. Plus, you will be entered to win a free stuck point scan where we'll just pinpoint the biggest area that you may be stuck in and that's holding you back. Visit holisticmamaspeaks.com/academy to learn more and to grab your free access. Your next level might just be one step away. Number 4, they keep moving. So you probably don't see super successful people just sitting around doing nothing in life, right? Successful women aren't successful because they're perfect by any means. They're successful because they keep moving. They keep taking action, even when they don't feel ready, even when they're scared, even when they don't have all of their ducks in a row or have everything all figured out, even when they think that progress is a little slower than they'd like. Or maybe even if they are second guessing themselves, they take some sort of action anyway. They're always taking some sort of action. And even the smallest bit of action on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, it builds up not only confidence, but also results. And it makes you into almost a whole new person. It literally changes your identity because when you feel confident about what you're doing and how you're doing it, you build that confidence. But you can't build confidence from nothing. You have to actually take action even before you have the confidence. You have to be taking action even when it feels scary, even when you feel like, I don't know all of the pieces. I just know this one little piece. Then that's the piece you take action on. Or you ask the questions, like going back to one of the previous tips, you ask questions. That way you can continuously take small actions on a regular, consistent basis. Because you know what? Small, consistent action builds that confidence. The confidence changes your identity, and your identity changes everything. Because when you create yourself into a new identity, you're stepping into every situation differently. You're no longer the old version of you. You are the brand new version of you. And here we go. Last but not least, tip number 5. They never stop growing and learning. This is something that I never, ever, ever want you to forget because this is so important. You hear of success. Success is different for everyone because it means something different to everyone. And, I think of success as not being a finish line. It's not like the end. It's not like, oh, I checked this item off of my list. Yay, now I'm successful. No, it's not like that. It's not an end. It's like a becoming. It's continuous growth. It is continuing to learn new things or new ways of doing things that you've always done, or new ways to think about things. Continuously becoming the person that you were created to be. So every lesson that you learn, every challenge that you learn, every win that you have, it helps to shape that next version of you so that you're continuously being that successful person that you are meant to be. So before you convince yourself that you just need to try harder, because that's what it takes, right? Trying harder. No, I want you to pause for a moment. Try taking a deep breath. That helps. Now ask yourself, do I actually know what's keeping me stuck? If not, start there. That's where you can start. Take the free stuck point quiz. Like I mentioned before, you can go to stuckpointquiz.com. It literally only takes 5 minutes and you'll walk away with more clarity and what next steps would be. And next thing is that over the next couple weeks, I will be opening the doors to my brand new women's community. This is something that I wish existed for years. And that's why I'm so happy to be helping to create this community because this community is of encouraging, growth minded women who are committed to becoming the best versions of themselves while helping each other to do the same. It's a group effort. This is for women who celebrate one another instead of comparing to one another, women who encourage each other instead of competing with each other, dreaming bigger together. If that sounds like something that you have been craving, hop on the wait list because as soon as it's open, you will be the first to know when it's open and you can hop in this community. You can do it from afar, you can do it locally, doesn't matter where your location is. You can be a part of this, and I'd love for you to join us in this. You can find out more about this in this episode description beneath wherever you're listening to this, or by going over to the show notes at holisticmamaspeaks.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for Holistic Mama Speaks. If you loved this episode, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Share it with a friend who needs some help and encouragement and who really just needs to hear what's in this episode. And also don't forget to leave a review and or rating wherever you are listening to this podcast. It helps the podcast to reach those who need to hear this message. So you can also head on over to holisticmamaspeaks.com for show notes, for free resources, and for more to support you along your journey. Thank you again for joining me today. See you next time.